Hello, my name is Josh Bergerson. I teach at Frankfurt High School in Philadelphia. I'm a science teacher. I teach our aviation classes of an aviation program, and I also teach earth science this year. It's my third year at this school and my 12th year teaching. So I started a career in education uh, because in college I was interested in science, and I took a class as an elective where we taught science lessons to local elementary schools, and that kind of piqued my interest in teaching and kind of sharing my passion for science with other people and with students in particular to kind of push more students that way. Um, if I could have any other job, what would it be and why? Probably I'll just be boring and say another job would be working kind of as a chemist. That's what my degree is in. So I did a lot of research in chemistry and biomedical engineering. So kind of a research chemist, a research scientist um, would be something interesting because I like to solve problems and kind of investigate things like that. So I'd stick in the science field for sure. Um, Now compared to 30 years ago, so 30 years ago I was a kid. Um, I guess the big thing now, especially with this past year and a half of remote teaching, is kids now just have a lot more distractions at their fingertips when it comes to technology. I feel like as a kid, I can remember being bored and not necessarily having things to do instantly for that quick gratification. And now kids and adults as well, we just don't seem to have as much downtime. Everyone's busier, and even kids who you might think, oh, they don't have a job or they don't have responsibilities necessarily the same as an adult would, but they can still have, to them, if they're perceiving what they do as busy and stressful, it can have the same impact on their emotional well-being. So I think kids today are just really involved, either like in a lot of sports or they have a lot of again distractions via technology and things to fill kind of every minute of their day. And so the teaching now is different, right? We have the technology is a benefit in teaching in a lot of ways. Um, Teaching now, especially in science education, there's a lot more focus on just teaching students how to think scientifically. So even when I was going to school, not all that long ago, we had a textbook and we learned the stuff that was in a textbook. But now in science, especially a lot of the basic stuff, you don't need to teach that directly because that information is available on the internet. And so what we need to do is teach our students how to use that information well, how to question things, how to have that understanding the scientific method and the thought process that goes into that. So there's some basic knowledge that helps them to have, but a lot of the teaching is more on kind of the processing skills and not just memorizing a whole bunch of facts, right? Because facts are really easy to look up now. Someone who's thinking about becoming a teacher, I would tell them that it's definitely something that can be very challenging and rewarding. Um, you might think it's like a repetitive career, but it's really not. Like I've taught 11 years now, and every year there's been changes. There's been different things. Even if I'm teaching the same class year and for a few years in a row, you always are trying to tweak it and make it better. So things are always going to be done differently. There's always new ways to do things. So it's definitely not a boring career, right? And so if you want to make an impact, it's a great way to do it. And it's also something that's going to just constantly challenge you to kind of stay on top of your game if you want to be, a good teacher. One thing that I could change to help kids learn better. A lot of the things, the schools that I've taught in, the students who struggle the most are the ones who just don't have as much outside resources available to them. Like I've taught kids who have a history of academic success in their families, and they have access to tutors, and they're in programs to help them academically outside of school, right? Compared to kids who don't have that. So really, kids are going to learn what they learn in school, but a lot of the support outside of school, and what happens when they're not in school, if there's a way that all kids could have access to kind of any program that could help them. So that's like a large scale thing that would be hard to change specifically, but yeah, just providing more access to high quality programs and support beyond what a school typically can offer.